Welcome to a full day of eating as someone that's pretty damn busy but manages to fit in some quality meals and still maintain a pretty good physique. I'm going to share what I eat in a day, tips and tricks I use to stay in shape when I can't quite follow this diet, and all in all, how I maintain such a good physique in spite of being super busy. Let's get into it. So in the morning, I will always wake up and have a black coffee. This is finished now. But I'll always wake up and have a black coffee. It helps me sort of center my mind, get myself ready for the day. And at that time, that's when I make a little to-do list of the things to do. I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I'll mention it again. I own a gym, I run a media business. I also am a personal trainer and I have a jewelry business. So I'm pretty damn busy. I also have a few relationships and like family to check in on. So I have a lot of shit going on, but this is how I maintain my physique and how I eat to make that happen. So the first meal of the day, I'll typically have around 8 a.m. and it's always the same. I've had the same meal for about the past 3 years, I would say. So I have bagels, toasted to perfection, obviously, around 140 grams of cooked chicken breast, about 150 grams of mixed vegetables, and then on the bagels, I will have 2 eggs, but I'll top up the egg whites with about 250 mils of egg whites. It ends up looking pretty weird, but it tastes pretty damn good. I'll also drizzle a little bit of hot sauce on the chicken and vegetables. You'll notice a trend throughout my diet. That's anytime I use sauces, I tend to go for hot sauces or low calorie sauces. This is purely because sauces have secretly a shitload of calories, especially the ones that taste good, unfortunately. That's why I've developed a bit of a taste for things like hot sauces, because they taste pretty damn good, but they're also more or less 0 calories, so I use a lot of hot sauce. After this, I'll tend to crack into some work, and then I go to the gym. Before I go to the gym, I'll always have a little teaspoon of honey. Why? A little bit of pre-workout, fast digesting carbs. Also, honey is fucking delicious, and I kind of prescribe to the fact that Manuka honey has some sort of weird magical healing properties. Anyway, it's a nice little pre-workout snack. And then I go to the gym. I'll typically have either a coffee or a pre-workout on the way to the gym, and then I'll push pretty hard for the session. Most of my sessions are between 45 minutes and an hour. I can bring it down to 35 minutes if I'm in a rush. Then I come back and I have my post-workout meal, which is protein oats. I've cooked that beforehand. I will have 60 grams of oats, some cinnamon, some ginger, some chia seeds, and then around 70 grams of protein powder and 10 grams of creatine. I'll also top this with about 150 grams of frozen berries. That's my post-workout meal. Then it's back into work. If I have some client meetings, I'll go and do the client meetings then. And my next meal isn't till about 2 p.m. And around 2 p.m., I recreate that first meal I had. So I have bagels again, but this time I have egg whites without the egg, and I replace the chicken with tuna. So it looks like a bit of a monstrosity, but I promise you it's fucking delicious. Again, I've had this meal for a very long time. I used to have tuna and rice here, but then I thought, I'm not a peasant, I don't want to eat rice. But in terms of the overall enjoyment of your diet and actually enjoying your life, bagels are gonna make you feel so much better, trust me. Then we get back into work. This is around the time where I make calls for my media business, so if I've got to do some cold calling, I'll do that. Before moving on to my next meal of the day, which is gonna be chicken, which is gonna be a classic, a bodybuilding staple. If you're not eating this, you're doing something wrong. Chicken, rice, vegetables. However, I have some nuance with this, right? A few things. The chicken, I always make sure I season it heavily. There's no point skimping out on seasoning. Seasonings have like 5 calories in them. If you're gonna commit to eating well for a long period of time, you're gonna have to learn how to make your chicken taste good. I'm gonna do a whole video on that later. So if you wanna see that, subscribe. My chicken is always moist, it always tastes damn good, and it comes through practice. So I'll teach you how to do that in another video. Anyway, chicken, rice, and vegetables. Vegetables, I just go for frozen vegetables. They're easiest, and they're actually fresher than fresh vegetables, believe it or not, because they're frozen when they're fresh. And for the rice, I get packet rice to save time, and I always get flavored packet rice. Why? Because it tastes about 1,000,000 times better. Like if you've ever compared the two of them, flavored packet rice is way better, and it's only a few more calories, a little bit of extra fat. If you're not trying to dial it in and be super lean, you can afford these extra calories. Moving on, I'll then finish off my final little bits of work. This is often when I review things like editor work. If I need to post on social media, like posting YouTube videos, I'll do this now, and also any kind of client posts, I'll do this now as well. Before I have my final meal of the day, this is a yogurt bowl mixed in with protein powder. I'll typically have about 160, 180 grams of yogurt, and then about 1 serving of protein powder, and I will top that with some mixed frozen berries again. This is a great slow digesting source of protein. Obviously, I'm gonna be asleep for the next 7-8 hours. I don't wanna be starving in that time, so this tends to fill me up, set me up for the night, and that is me. That's the end of my full day of eating. A few things to note in terms of the way I've actually structured this. Every meal, you notice, I have around a similar amount of protein. I aim for between 60 to 70 grams of protein per meal, and I spread that out relatively evenly. So I'm eating roughly every 3 to 4 hours. Spread quite evenly across the day. I have the majority of my carbs around my workout, and then towards the end of the day, my carbs tend to taper off. All in all, it's a very sustainable, delicious diet for me. I look forward to eating every single meal. Right now, I'm supposed to film a few more videos, but all I can think about is my next meal because I enjoy eating them so much. And that's the secret, really, right? if you can make a diet or have someone make you a diet that you look forward to eating, you don't really feel the need to cheat on it. And if I do cheat on it, I just swap out one of those meals for something else, and it's not a big deal because I can roll right back into it the next day. If you got some value from this, if you want to see some more tips on how I actually fit everything into a day, as you can see, I sort of briefly touched on how I managed to balance business, eating, relationships, etc. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Woo!